Are you ready?
You better get ready.
Get ready to dive into the heart of local sports action. Broadcasting live from the heartland of Missouri. Welcome to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN.
Get set.
Because it's time to catch up on the latest local highlights, in-depth analysis, and interviews from the Boot Eagle and beyond.
Get set. Here we go.
Good Saturday morning to you. It is the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online at SEMOESPN.com. Happy to have you join us, and should be a good sports weekend. A nice weather day today as well. Temperature starting to warm up a little bit. Got my buddy Luke Randall of KFES 12 joining me this morning as well. Luke, how's it going?
Rusty, good to be here. We got a bunch going on today.
We do. Hey, I got my poll going, so got ready to go for that. I stained my deck the other day, so I'm getting ready to get some, ready to go outside and just enjoy the backyard in that area. Is there any summer activities you like to do?
Man, I'm a big hiker. I know we don't have a lot of huge mountains out here. I got to go out to Fredericktown because I know they got more hills.
Place.
I know they got more hills out there, and they got that. I think the tallest point of the state. But hiking, that's a big one.
Well, across the river. I mean, there in southern Illinois, there's a couple of high points. You can do some stuff there. Have you ever been over there?
I've heard. Is it Garden of the Gods, the Illinois one?
That's one. Yeah.
I haven't been there yet, but I should
check it out.
Go there.
Check it out. All right, so should be fun. Got Luke he's in studio. We got him all show. He's here for the full hour, so excited about that. We're gonna get into a lot of baseball. Obviously, the Cardinals. We'll talk to Catfish here to begin. We'll get into state playoffs. That's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to head coach Josh Roach. I got a little snippet from him after their game yesterday for the Jackson Indian baseball team. We're going to have a live interview with Joe Bickings and Cole Berger, Parker Bryant of Oran. They made it to the state Final Four. That's coming up at 9:30. And then a little more, kind of professional things or, college things. We'll get into some interesting tidbits there at the final. But let's start with the Cardinals, Luke. They've been playing some good baseball. 32-25 record currently. They started a series with the Texas Rangers in Arlington to start a road trip. Had an off day yesterday. The guys, I thought it was pretty cool. I saw the Cardinals, they went and got all custom cowboy hats, so they were rocking that for the road trip. I thought that was kind of cool. But playing the Rangers, who have struggled. They have been one of the worst offenses in the entire league. I mean, they've been horrible. Marcus Semien, for example, he was batting under 200. In this game before this game started. Okay, he was batting 174. I mean, just absolutely brutal start to the season. He was 4 for 4 with a home run, 3 RBIs last night, of course. So it did not go the way of the Cardinals in Game 1 of the series against the Rangers. The Cardinals lost 11-1. So the Rangers, the one thing they have going for them, they have good starting pitching. Jack Leiter last night, if you remember him in college at I believe Vanderbilt, I mean, he was a stud. Of course, he played with Kamar Rocker. They're both in the same organization. Of course, they got Jacob DeGrom that's been pitching pretty well. Nathan Eovaldi, he's been one of the best pitchers in the league this year. I mean, their pitching's fine. They just can't hit. The only guy really that's been hitting, but he can't stay healthy, is their shortstop in Corey Seager, Luke. So, but they put up 11 runs last night. Liberatore, who has been one of the better starters for the Cardinals, just had a clunker last night. Gordon Graceffo in relief, he didn't do all that well. We saw Alec Burleson throw at the very end of the game, so the Cardinals, so that was fun. But I know you haven't paid maybe a ton of attention. I know you're not a Cardinals fan. Obviously, you cover them with KFES 12, but look, I mean, they're sitting 3 games back in the division. The Cubs did lose to the Reds yesterday, so they didn't lose any ground there. But so they're second in the division. They're right there in the wild card race. I mean, maybe for a lot of people unexpected that they're doing as well as they have been. What have been your thoughts about the Cardinals so far this year?
Well, the expectations going into this year compared to last year, I feel like we're a bit tempered. Sure. Obviously they talk about switching GMs at the end of the year and then kind of their whole branding it or how they're pushing it is that they want to have a youth movement. So to be competitive, obviously you like that. But I think you and I were talking before the show, like, are they really going to lean into the youth movement if it could compromise a playoff run? Something
exactly.
Like that?
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously a question right now because, look, I'll be honest, I'm still on the fence. Yeah. Are the Cardinals really a true contender? Are they a playoff team? And, look, we got a long way to go. I mean, we got a couple months here. But what do they do at the trade deadline? Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Do you mortgage some of your draft capital to try to go in a little bit, to try to make the playoffs? Because you've missed a couple of years. Because I think the fans are at least enjoying that they're in the mix, enjoying the kind of the brand of baseball right now, because they're pretty. I would say they're at least close to being elite at defense. Mm-hmm. They're solid pitching. They have solid hitting. Their bats have been, the first part of the season here, about a third way through, Luke. I mean, they've been top 10 in offense. So they're hitting. They have some good young guys doing it. One of the questions I have is playing time. That goes back to what we were talking about. And I wanted to bring up something that Katie Wu had in The Athletic. She's the beat writer for the Cardinals for The Athletic. And I'm going to read this. She talked about some playing time with some different guys. And I agree with Ollie Marmol, because she had an interview with Ollie Marmol. And this is what he said about Walker and Burleson kind of splitting time. He said, I don't want to use Walker as a platoon guy, but I don't mind firing Burleson in there strictly against righties. I won't do it every time because Walker needs to play more than, we just see a left-handed starter. But the way Alec is swinging it, it's hard not to put him in there against some of the other team's best right-handers. So Jordan's going to play against lefties and righties. Doesn't matter. I'll pick Burleson's spots and hit against righties. So I like that. He mentioned, he said, I'm going to give Walker a couple days off a week, playing him 4 to 5 days a week. I think that's fine. You play him 4 to 5 days a week. You get Burleson in there. He's probably playing close to 4 to 5 days a week because Burleson can play a little first. He'll give, maybe 1 day off a week to Contreras. Maybe he'll DH here or there. So I like the way he's using those two guys. He mentions Herrera. He said, I want Herrera to be in there every day. Again, this is Ollie Marmol. He said, going mostly to be a DH, but I'll pair him with a couple of guys throughout the week to catch. So my only, thing that I would like to see is I would like to see Herrera catch more because I do think that opens up the lineup more. And he said, look, the name you're looking for here is Gorman, and that's where I'm having the most trouble finding playing time for. It's not an easy rotation. He said, what's tough for Gorman is when you look under the hood, he's making more contact, he's chasing less, he's walking more. He said, yes, the bat speed is down, but that's an expense of making contact. So he needs a run of games to show that he's coming, into play, which is hard to do at the moment because I'm not sure who you'd play him at the expense of. There's not a great answer for it. So I understand the conundrum that he's in. My retort would be catch Herrera more. You catch him more, you can plug, Gorman more at DH. My thing is, you can't just play him once a week or so. You need to get him more at-bats. I mean, we need to have 400-plus at-bats for him this year. We just do. Mm-hmm. And right now, he's under 100 at-bats on the season, and that's not enough.
That's not good for confidence at all.
So where do you stand on that? Those are my thoughts. And obviously, Ollie Marmol's. Again, I agree with Ollie for the most part. My only retort is you got to find a way to get Gorman in there more just because you got to find out what he is. This is his last chance, in my opinion, this year. And this is a year you got to find out, and then you decide at the end of the season, do we let him go, do we trade him, whatever, or do we try to build around him?
Yeah, I don't think the Cardinals are contenders this year, so why not? And I know obviously St. Louis, naturally Cardinals fans are going to have high standards, making the playoffs just about every year, and now having missed it for a couple, you want to get back in desperately. But when you have a movement that you're committing to, I think you have to commit to it. I don't think you can dip your toes in and then just not do it. So yeah, getting Gorman as many reps as possible. You got to see if there's something there. If there's not, okay, at least you tried.
Right, and that's my take. And look, there's other guys too. Maybe Victor Scott. Maybe you give him a little less time as far as, and what I mean by that is maybe one less day a week. You shift. I know they don't like to do it, but maybe you shift a guy like Nootbaar over to center field another time during the week. Maybe get Arenado off his feet an extra day. Again, you're talking one day here, one day there, and then you're talking about Gorman playing 4 times a week, and I think that's a huge difference. And that's my thing. I understand, for the most part, I don't have many qualms with Ollie. I think he's done a pretty good job this year with the bullpen, with playing time, so I will give him that. He's in a tough situation. But the Cardinals back at it today, a 3:05 start against the Rangers. We'll see if they can get back on the winning track here today. All right, let's shift to the Catfish real quick before we go to break. Boy, tough one last night, Luke. Okay, so this is their 4th game. They were up 7-1 in the 4th inning. They were on the road against the Jackson Rockabillies. They lost in the bottom of the 9th on a walk-off hit by pitch, 8-7 the final. Again, they were up 7-1 in the 4th inning, ended up losing 8-7. Brett Vondelin did homer for the Fish in the game. They now have 6 homers, the Catfish do, through the first 4 games of the year. I mean, they only had, I think, 23 home runs all summer last year. They were not a home run hitting team. Maybe this is a little bit more powerful type team this year. They'll play tonight at home against the Rockabilly, so a chance to get some revenge. So we'll be there tonight. You can listen to the game right here on SEMO ESPN Radio. We'll have the coverage for you. But look, tough one last night, but a chance for the Catfish to get back at it today, Luke.
Yeah, and I was talking to the GM, Mark Hogan, and they only get 1 practice before the season even starts.
It's crazy.
I mean, people don't talk about that enough. You're coming off regionals, things like that. I know even last year, Kettering, when he was on the team, he didn't play for the first half because he was still playing with SEMO. So a lot of these guys, they're getting in, their seasons just ended, things like that. I wouldn't worry about form for the first. I'm not really worried about records for the first 2 weeks. Obviously, I know that they divide the season into halves, and that's how you make the playoffs.
Right.
But, it is so early that they don't even know who they are yet. I don't think anyone does.
Absolutely.
So, not great to lose on the road, especially when you're up like that, the way you lose like that. The homers is exciting. I didn't know that. Be able to have 6, Capel has a nice park. I hope we can get some more tonight.
Caleb Champion, he's had a good start for the Catfish. Looking at him, Tank Sims, a guy that didn't play for SEMO either, but he had a home run the other night. He had a couple of walks in the game against the Rockabilly, so a couple of local guys there. Then, of course, you just have a local flair of different players that maybe are from around the area. Didn't go to SEMO, but guys like Hayden Nazarenas that's back. He played at Cooter. And he had a great
He was
year.
great last year,
And he was great last year. They have 11 returners from last year's team. That is unprecedented. That doesn't happen in the Prospect League baseball, Luke. So for to have so many returners, one of the stories I told the other night was about Jorge Romero. You remember him? I mean, this is 3rd year back now with the Catfish. He went to Western Illinois this year. He'd been to I think Cal State Northridge. He's from North Hills, California. Okay, he's a Cali guy, right?
He comes to Cape Girardeau for the summer.
He somehow finds a way to come to the Cape Girardeau for the summer. He loves it in Cape. Yeah. He really honestly wanted to go to SEMO. It just didn't work out. They didn't have a scholarship for him. But he goes to Western Illinois. Had a pretty good year for them this year. He's a senior. He graduated. And he was telling me last week, he said, look, I wanted to come back even though I already graduated. He said, what else? What I wanted to do? I want to play with the Catfish. He's been staying with his host family in Matt Keeney, Lori Williams, loves them, and he wants to stay here in the area. He wants to live here full time, and he wants to be a state trooper. So I was like, man, that is awesome. I mean, this place has had such an impression on him that a guy from California, he said, you know what? I love it here. I want to stay here. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is remarkable. I mean, I don't know if he likes the weather, the way it's been the past few months, but that just shows what the Catfish and what the host families can do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So again, they play tonight, 6:35 against the Rockabillies. Catfish now 2-2 on the season. Nathan Bowie had 3 hits last night as well. Caleb Champion with a couple of hits, and he also had a couple of walks. So back at it today, tomorrow. You can check things out. I believe it's tumbler night. You can come to the field and get. I think the first 400 fans get a tumbler. I believe that's tonight, final day of May. So yeah, there's a lot of cool promotions going on. The atmosphere is pretty awesome here in the Prospect League and here at Cape Girardeau, Luke. All right, let's take a break. And we will talk a little state playoffs. We'll hear some snippets from a couple of coaches and preview that to a couple of teams to the state Final Four. Oran, Chaffee, Portageville, maybe Jackson could add their name to the list. We'll see. Stay tuned. We'll take a break, be back. SEMO Scramble continues on next. Welcome back in. SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online at SEMOESPN.com. I wanted to talk about the state playoffs in high school baseball as, boy, good representation here in the area of some teams. You have Oran that's made it to the state Final Four in Class 1, Chaffee in Class 2, Portageville in Class 3, in Class 6, we'll see. Maybe Jackson can make a run as well. We saw Perryville made a nice run in Class 4 before they lost in the quarters, but boy, it was a great season for them. We can touch on that as well. But let's start with Class 3 in Portageville. I wanted to play this audio of head coach Tyler Trover. He's a guy that they've had 6 straight district titles at Portageville, 20 or more wins in 7 of the last 8 years. They've made it to state now in 3 of the last 4, and it's an impressive run for them. 8th year for Trover as a head coach there, 24-9 record this year, but 241 career wins. Had a stint there at Bloomfield as well. He's been impressive, and I wanted to play this. This was before the season started. It was during our preview show, and I get on him a little bit because I was like, hey, trying to temper the expectations a little bit. But this was his thoughts talking about his team before the season.
Well, I mean, we're a little unproven right now. Obviously, we've got a bunch that is really quite a few of them who actually had to wait, 3 years just to see some significant varsity playing time, just because of that group of 6 seniors that were kind of clogging the way for so many years. That, I mean, many of those guys started as freshmen for us. A different look this year, a different feel. Our kids are pretty hungry right now. We one of the things that we've talked about is just nobody thinks we're going to be any good. It will not be easy. I think the gap is closed some there potentially, and I've told people we're a team that is capable of losing in a district semifinal just as well as we're capable of possibly getting to the Final Four. I just think that's who we are this year.
You think people are overlooking him now? Back to the state Final Four. Look, again, I get on him a little bit because trying to temper expectations. But, boy, Tyler Trover's done a great job. And Portageville back. They'll face Fairgrove, who has a 27-5 record in Class 3. What do you think? Do you give Portageville a shot in Class 3? What do you think, Luke?
Class 3, I was looking at Scott City for the whole way.
Absolutely.
And Greenville comes and upsets them, and then Portageville takes down Greenville. I don't know if they'll win a state title, but, they had a bunch of guys leave last year. We were talking about them, how strong they were last year, and to be able to come back, and I guess we'll probably talk about Chaffee being virtually the same in a few moments here, but why not? Don't doubt them. Go into the game, have fun, know that you're there. To be able to reach state is huge. So go all out.
So they will face off against Fairgrove on Wednesday at 10 a.m. in the state Final Four. Houston Parton, him and his brother play on the team, and he's come back. He pitched a big game last year for them in the playoffs. He had 19 strikeouts the other day against was it Greenville, I guess? 19 strikeouts. That was a career high.
I remember that now, yep.
And I think he's had a couple of games this year where he's had 15, but 19 strikeouts. That is impressive.
You only get so many opportunities.
Talking to Tyler, he said that he started the year, he's throwing low 80s, maybe touching 84 or so. I mean, he's throwing upper 8s and even touching 90 now. I mean, this guy is something else, and he's probably going to be the guy throwing in the semis against Fairgrove. So Can you hit a little bit? Can you take advantage of some Fairgrove mistakes? You got a chance.
I mean, that's the thing. It's one game. It's one game. You just have to send everything at it, and we'll talk about it later with Jackson and that whole 3-game series. Ooh. But when you have one game, you got to send everything at it just to make sure you make it to the final. And Wednesday at 10 a.m., you said, yeah, that will be fun.
You mentioned Jackson. Let's talk about them. They played yesterday in Class 6. They hosted Parkway South. And yes, it is a 3-game series. Class 5, Class 6 this year. They went to that 3-game series set. I'll get my thoughts on that in a second. But Parkway South gets the win 3-1. Errors, kind of some cold bats to the story. But let's hear from head coach Josh Roach. I talked to him after the game. This is what he said after the loss there on the field for Jackson against Parkway South.
Talking things over here with head coach Josh Roach at Jackson, and after a tough loss 3-1 to Parkway South. Coach, just take us through the ball game a little bit, just kind of what went into this game. You had Drew Parsons on the mound. He went the full 7 innings today. I thought he did enough for you today, but just couldn't get the runs across. What was the difference overall in this game today?
We just we didn't make some defensive plays that were huge. Offensively, we definitely didn't do enough offensively. Enough competitive work at the plate to put a little pressure on them and kind of see what happens. So we're going to have to do a much better job going in tomorrow, and I know we will. But talking about Drew Parsons, I mean, you can't really throw much better than he did. He gave us every opportunity to win, and unfortunately, their little lefty was just carving us up. And we had a hard time adjusting to that, but we'll go back to work tomorrow and be ready to go.
So what's that message tomorrow? Pretty cool that, look, you get to play again tomorrow, right? I mean, pretty cool here in upper classes this year in the state for baseball that gets to play a 3-game series. I love it. I want to get your thoughts on that first, but also the message tomorrow and how you plan to attack them tomorrow.
Yes. Love the 3-game set, obviously, especially when you drop the first one. We were just telling them in the huddle how much of a blessing it is that we get to have another shot at it. Years past, we'd be done. Be going home, guys would be going on to different things, but the way they have it set up this year, we get another shot, and we're excited about that, and we are going to be ready to go tomorrow. Tomorrow, we just go back to what we've been really good at the past month. We played a phenomenal defense. We've pitched it really well, and our hitters are getting the job done at the plate. If we do those 3 things, we got a really good chance to knock off Parkway twice. So.
And you have one of your top pitchers on the mound tomorrow,
sure,
in Cole Kerber, so you got to be excited about that. And again, playing back here tomorrow at noon. How excited are you guys to get back at it? And again, with the strength of your pitching still intact.
Yeah, we got Cole going tomorrow, and he's been one of our top arms all year. So I expect he's going to deal like he always has. It's probably going to be. I'm hoping that we put a little more pressure on him and get a few more runs on the board for him. But we'll be ready to go. We got a tough bunch, man. They've been through a lot this year, and they are very resilient. They're gritty. They'll be ready to go tomorrow. So excited about that.
Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that was head coach Josh Roach. His thoughts there after the loss. So again, Cole Kerber on the mound. I like them to get to that 3rd game here today. Again, the games are going to be at Jackson Indian Ballpark there in Jackson, right there next to the Civic Center. And again, 3-game series. I like the new system for classes 5 and 6. I think they should include class 4 as well. But I think it kind of shows the true champion of having a series instead of just one game. I like it.
Yeah, I know you would have, obviously, people are going to be like, well, you want to play one game, just throw everything at it. But when you have the larger classes like this, you can make the case for that 3-game series because the squads are so much deeper. I would have loved to see Perryville have a 3-game series because they didn't play Troy O'Keefe because obviously they had to use him to get past Fredericktown, and to be able to not use him, obviously that hurt them. But having a 3-game series, oh man, they might have won that. Yeah. Parsons went, I think, he had 99 of 100 pitches yesterday. I think Ben Dombach came in and literally just threw 1 pitch, and it was instantly an out. That's the thing. I was talking to Roach. He said, yeah, full bullpen available.
Exactly.
I fancy them to win it. I really think they got a shot.
Got to score. Just got to score.
Offensively, yeah. Offensively, not good enough. Obviously, you're playing one of the best teams in the state. It's going to be hard to get offense, but there's, I don't want to say too much talent, but there's enough talent to get to state.
Yeah, I agree. So good luck to the Jackson Indians today. How about let's move to Class 2. And in Class 2, Chaffee's going to face Miller at 4 p.m. on Monday in the state Final Four. 23-3 season for Chaffee. Miller is 23-5. They have one common opponent. We've talked about him, Portageville. Chaffee won that game 6-4. Miller lost 12-2. Interesting note there. So Chaffee, they finished third in state each of the last couple of years. Third trip to state, straight trip to state. Can they get over the hump this year? We'll see. They have a little bit of a younger team. 3 championships in their history. The last one came in 1983. They won in 1977, 1975. They just 10-run ruled Bernie, who was a good team, 13-0 to get to the state Final Four. Do you give Chaffee a shot to win the state championship?
After they beat Valley, absolutely. You know, that game against Valley Catholic, I thought that was not a de facto state championship. You never want to say that. Like, obviously, Sykes and Webster Groves in the quarterfinals for basketball earlier this year.
Right.
I thought that was a state championship game. I know I might get flack for that. But
and, of course, Webster Groves went on to win it.
Yeah, and they probably will the next 2 years.
That's right.
But, you know, once you get past Valley, you know, who's stopping you? Miller is a great team, but I didn't know they had that loss to Portageville. And, you know, Chaffee beat Portageville. They beat Portageville, I believe, in the state quarterfinal last year. If there is a year to do it, you know, you finish third for a bit, you know, why not? I didn't think they would be nearly as strong this year. You know, Levi McKinney was a stalwart for him last year. I think he had a game where I think he pitched 6 innings, came out. I didn't know you were allowed to put him back in.
Right.
He comes back in, closes the game versus, I believe, Portageville. If there's a year to do it, Chaffee can probably do it. They've been very, very good this year. I think the only losses I've seen them, I believe, are Oran and Scat City, I believe.
Ride the wave.
I fancy him to do it.
Yeah, I like it. Aaron Horrell does a great job there. And, I figured Valley Catholic will go to the state championship. I've been talking about them and Oran all year.
They've been great.
And kudos to Chaffee, able to upset Valley. And so, look, if you can beat Valley, I feel like you can beat anybody.
They never let Valley into that game, by the way. I was there, just sitting there. Valley never got into it. I was pretty impressed.
So I'm looking forward to the Red Devils doing some cool things here in the state Final Four. Again, that's going to be on Monday. How about Oran? Oran will face St. Elizabeth. They're in Class 1 at 10 a.m. on Monday. They have a 21-1 record this year. Only losses to Kidant. They won a state championship last year. The question is, can they repeat? Listen to this, okay? I wrote this down, and I haven't checked it out to confirm, but I believe him. Okay. My buddy Matt Connell, he went to Oran. He's been a coach in different things as well. So listen to this. This is what he wrote on his social media page. He said he did some research, and it just speaks to the program of Oran baseball, okay? In a 26-year period, Oran has made it to 15 Final Fours in baseball. For comparison, I know you've been here long enough, you've heard this.
Yeah.
Scott County Central, what they've done in basketball. Okay, Scott County Central basketball program went to 13 Final Fours in an 18-year period from 1976 to 1994. Of course, they made a run in the 2000s with Otto Porter as well. But Oran now leads every single Missouri school for Final Four appearances in baseball. Francis Howell's the next closest at 14. I mean, that's insane what Oran's been able to do year after year after year, and a chance to repeat as state champions.
That's a wagon in Class 1. You know, every year that I've been here, obviously I've only been here like 2.5 years, but or 1.5 years, you know, they come in and they dominate. You know, they do not look like a Class 1 team. It's, you know, I don't even think of them as a Class 1 team, and then you get to districts and you're like, oh my gosh, they've only got 100 kids at their school or something like that. You know, they come in and they got a guy like Ryland Mills who's going D1 to SEMO.
Yep.
You know, they're a juggernaut, and it is testament to the program because, you know, I didn't realize 15. I mean, you can't take that away from anything, whether they're Class 1, Class 6, you know. you get the same resources basically as every Class 1 school. You're not in a big city. You're in Orion, Missouri. There's not a lot of people there, and you're making it to the Final Four every year, every other year. That is awesome. And, I know we haven't talked too much in the game, but they're stacked. I think they're repeating.
I do too. I said at the beginning of the year, and I'm going to stick with it, I think they had the best chance to win the state title again this year because they have pretty much everybody returning. And they've been impressive. And look,
they'd have a shot in 2 or 3.
They've been there too. And I'll ask, because I'm going to talk to them next.
Okay.
I think it's important that you have that experience. You know what it feels like, that the moment doesn't get too big, right? They've been there, done that too. They have that experience. They were there last year, and they completed it. So I think that's a huge edge for them this year too, Luke.
Yeah. You can't even really put that into words, just how much of an advantage that is to. We've seen what it's been like to win a state championship. We've also probably had some seniors that have had some losses in their career. To have that experience, to know those moments of a game, like I look back to a game. It was East Prairie versus Orion this year, and I believe East Prairie was up 1-0 or something like that, and they just worked their way and they found a crack and they went for it. And they've got that ability to know when the moment is, and to have that in the playoffs, it's invaluable.
We're going to talk to Orion's head coach, Joe Bickings. We're going to talk to Cole Berger, Parker Bryant, players. It's all coming up. Stay with us. The SEMO Scramble continues. Talk a little more Orion baseball next. Welcome back in. SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online, SEMOESPN.com. After the show, you can also check out the podcast page. Go back and listen to any of the interviews or any of the content you may have missed. That's SEMOESPN.com/podcast. And happen to be joined now on our hotline with some Orion baseball players and head coach Joe Bickings for the Orion Eagles. They made it back to the state Final Four in Class 1. They're going to play St. Elizabeth in the semifinals Monday at 10 a.m. 21-1 record. So, guys, appreciate the time this morning. How we doing?
We're doing good.
Glad to have you with us. I'll start with you, Coach. What can you tell us about the matchup with St. Elizabeth? Do you know anything about them? What's the message, I guess, more than anything, to your team and just kind of, trying to find a way to get back to that championship game?
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy task. St. Elizabeth has been ranked second in the last, all year basically. And if you kind of look back the last 6 years, either St. Elizabeth or Orion has won the state championship. So it's not going to be an easy task. And, our message is just go up there and compete, do what we've done all year, and, have our pitchers throw strikes, play good defense, and get some timely hitting.
Hi, Luke Randall from KFVS here. This one's for either Parker or Cole. You guys are experienced. This group has been through so much. You've won a state title. We were talking about it about 3 or 4 minutes ago. How much does having the experience of a state title, winning it, help you for this state run?
Oh, man, it really helps. I remember my freshman year when we were playing in it, and I was playing out there at third, and, I was scared as could be. I was a little freshman, and back to my junior year, and I pitched the championship game, and, there was just hardly any pressure because I already been in a big situation like it, and I remembered it all.
So, yeah, Parker, what's that like, taking the mound? What's the mindset like? How do you go about attacking hitters?
Like Coach Bick said, really just compete, get ahead early, and throw a lot of strikes.
Coach, what does it say about this team? I think we were just talking about it, that Orion, I believe now, is the all-time leader in Final Four appearances. I think it's 15, and that's not just Class 1, that's everything. What does it say about that group to do? No, I'm sorry. What does it say about that group to be able to do that just about every year?
Yeah, well, first off, it's actually, I think, 17 appearances.
17, all right. There you go.
Yeah, they went in 1980 and 81, too, and got third place. So people forget about that, but that's fine. What was the question again? Sorry.
What does it say that, this team can consistently, no matter what decade it is, reach a Final Four?
It's about the community here at Oran. A lot of these kids, grew up watching. For me, my brother played, and he didn't make it to the Final Four, but he's kind of started the run with the district championships. Then I graduated from here and got to play, and we went twice, my junior and senior year. So just being able to have the community support us and go out and watch, and then with all the little kids watching, they want to be the Parker Bryan or the Cole Berger someday, and they want to be up there in the state championship game.
This one's for Cole Berger. I mean, I think 5 seniors on the team. Again, the team that's been there and done that. How hungry are you guys to go back and win another state title? What do you think it's going to take, in your opinion, to get it done again this year?
It's really just going to take us all playing together. We're going to have some of our underclassmen step up at the bottom of our lineup to really help us. But, I mean, we all want it really bad, so we're going to go up there and give it what we got.
Parker, Cole, this one is for either of you guys. You can even both answer potentially. Coach just talked about the community support. I imagine you guys are probably doing a send-off either today or probably tomorrow. What does it mean to be playing for the community of Oran? It's not a big city. It's a very small town, but they come out and feel like the whole town will turn out just about every day to watch y'all.
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I really feel as in this community, sports are everything for everybody around. And when we do our send-off, when we get everybody out here and we really see almost the whole community sending us off, and even when we're coming back, win or lose, we still have the whole community, and it just means a lot to all of us.
Coach, when are y'all doing that send-off, by the way?
We're going to do it tomorrow. We're leaving at 11. The send-off will be at 10:50.
11 a.m. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
So, again, this one's for Cole Berger. Just what do you think about just kind of the schedule that you've played this year, some of the tough opponents, kind of facing adversity throughout the season, just kind of the experiences you've learned? It seems like this team has pretty close-knit chemistry, so just how that has helped you guys and how you guys play together, you do a lot of things differently together even outside of baseball, and how that has helped you this year as well.
It's really helped us. I mean, like we even like outside of baseball, a bunch of us hang out all the time. We'll hit a bunch extra, and it feel like it just brings us all together, and it helps us play better because we're so close with each other.
Coach, you've got so much experience on this roster. One of the guys we haven't talked about thus far, Rylan Mills. He's going to SEMO. How much has he grown? Obviously, he was going D1 before the year, but how much has he grown in his last year here?
Yeah, he's grown quite a bit. He stepped up and kind of been the leader of the team, kind of a vocal leader, and then he also is a lead by example type. He's a kid, like Cole even said. A lot of them hit afterwards, and he's one of them. Tyler Bashir is one of them. Carson Kern, Cooper Bryant. All our guys, even our younger guys, our freshmen, they stay after and hit after practice. So, him growing and helping has been very big for us.
This one's for Coach Bick as well. Look, I mean, how tough is it? You get in those big situations. I think it's easy not only for the players but for the coaches to, maybe get a little anxious, maybe wanting to get that quick hook for a pitcher, or maybe not knowing when to have a bunt here or a run there. I mean, obviously for players, you've talked about it before, even before the season, how important it is to play well in all 3 facets of the game. Hitting, pitching, and defense, and you got to be able to come together and maybe not let the moment get too big. So I guess my question would be how do you do that as a coach too? How do you try to have that nice balance of trying to make sure that you're giving it your all, but also not letting the moment get too big, and just making sure that you're making the right decision at the right time?
Yeah, being in those situations throughout the year and in the past has kind of really helped me out. And I have a phenomenal assistant coach, and Coach Stemfer, so I'll bounce ideas off of him, and there'll be times he'll just come and look at me and talk to me and say something that I wasn't thinking about, and I'm like, you know what, you're right, and we'll go with it. But, just the experience throughout the season, knowing the players, what they can and can't do, it really helps us out.
One final one for your seniors. Favorite memory with this program?
Oh, that's an easy one. Obviously, winning the state championship last year. I mean, you can't really beat that.
You can't if you do it this year.
That's true. That'd be pretty sweet.
Again, I want both of you to answer that.
I would have to agree with Parker winning state last year. That'll be in my memory forever. It was awesome. But like you said, if we could do it again this year, that'd be even better. But we're just going to see what happens.
All right.
Good mindset.
Guys, I appreciate the time. I really appreciate both you guys, Cole Berger, Parker Bryant, for joining me this morning, and head coach Joe Bickings. Good luck, guys. Good luck. We're rooting for you.
All right, thank you.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
All right, that is, again, Joe Bickings, the head coach for Oran, Cole Berger, Parker Bryant of Oran. That was fun, Luke.
Yeah, it was a great interview. You know, I mean, they're a humble team. They're from a small town, and they're just some good guys. I hope the best for them, and, you know, I think they'll get it.
Hope so, man. Only the one loss this year. Look, they have a win against Porterville, a win against East Prairie. You mentioned that win. That was a good win.
Only lost to Kennett, right?
Only lost to Kennett. Yeah. Look, Kennett has a very good arm, and Hayden Gilmore is a lefty. They got a underrated win against Kelly. They got a win against Chaffee, 7-2. A win against Scott City, 4-1. Class 5 Sykeston, they have a win 17-1 against them. Sykeston wasn't a bad team.
No.
I mean, they won 17-1 against them. One of their tougher games, believe it or not, was in districts against Bell City. They won that game 5-3. Then they blew out Cooter, and then a nice win against South Iron. I mean, they just, any challenge that comes to them, they just find a way to overcome. And thanks for him for also correcting, because again, I prefaced that before as I mentioned it, that message from Mac. I'm going to get on to him. But, I said I didn't check it out, but apparently it's not 15, it's 17 Final Fours.
Wagon keeps on rolling. Yeah,
17.
They're just having fun with it every single year out there. No matter who it is, every generation, they're going out there and they're finding a way to reach the Final Four. That's remarkable.
All right, so good stuff. We'll take a break. We'll maybe talk a little, reminisce about the softball state championships. We got a couple big soccer matches today, Luke. We'll talk about that. NBA, NHL playoffs, and NCAA regional baseball. Some interesting nuggets there we want to get to as well. Stay with us, SEMO Scramble. Welcome back, SEMO Scramble, SEMO ESPN Radio. Luke Randall of KFES 12 been sticking with us all show. Appreciate him. Want to continue on the high school theme. Talk a little state playoffs. Little recap. I'm going to talk about the softball squads. Give them a little love, Luke. It was Oak Ridge who ended up playing Bernie in Class 1 in the state playoffs. It was Oak Ridge getting the victory, outlasting Bernie, I believe, in 8 innings, 3-2. Oak Ridge finished with third place, Bernie fourth. Bernie finishes 27-9, Oak Ridge 25-3. Both teams, I believe, it was the first trip to state.
Yeah, and what a way for them to end up against each other. I know not playing for a state title, and that would have obviously been the dream, but Oak Ridge is the team that we covered more this year. Just naturally they're so close. Kaylin Deckard was a monster, by the way, this year.
Freshman.
Yeah, absolutely going to rack up D1 offers. Wouldn't be surprised if she's getting SEC offers within a year or two. They had so much fun. They go out there, and this was a team that was not incredible last year. They were good last year. I think they had a winning record. I believe they made a district semifinal. But to not only go win your first ever district, that was, their first ever district, and then to go out there and win the Final Four, props to them and props to Bernie. Coming third is not easy.
No. And props to Kennett as well in Class 2. They finished in third place, defeated Ava 15-8. 28-10 record is what Kennett finishes up with. That's their 8th trip to state. Third time winning third place. They won the state title back-to-back years. I believe it was in 2014, 2015. So Kennett's had a nice run of some good softball teams the last several years. Another trip to state, they deserve a lot of praise too.
And they had to beat Malden to get there. I believe. I think that game. I believe it was the district championship game in Class 2, District 1, if I'm right. That went down to the wire to even get by Malden. You had to be really good. So credit to them. I know they had like some rain during their semifinal game, which was a little controversial because like one inning kind of got overturned and
right. Yes.
it got called, and that is not fun. But
you hate to see that.
Yeah, you do. And credit to them for coming out, saying, "All right, whatever, we're out," and then going and defeating Ava 15-8.
All right, let's flip over to some soccer, Luke. Some big games coming up, okay? St. Vincent in the quarterfinals against St. Charles. They're going to play at, I believe, 6 p.m. tonight.
Yep.
Lena Adams leads the way. Something like, we were talking yesterday, actually, in Jackson, something around 45-ish goals this year. I mean, that is simply remarkable. A junior, she's already committed to Mizzou, helped leading the way for St. Vincent. I mean, she is a stud.
And she's not really a forward. She's more of a midfielder. Like, she's not deliberately calling for the ball or doing all that. Like, she's an absolute beast. That the St. Vincent girls have dominated in every sport they've played this year. Volleyball,
yeah,
I think
that girls' class is something else.
It is insane this year. They go out and they rallied to even make it to the Final Four. Basketball, I thought they should have won that state championship. I know, obviously, they lose that. They come second. Second is extremely good. I think it's the best mark they've ever had. Lana Adams is an absolute monster on that soccer pitch, and they've got. I think they've got another player that's going to Western Illinois as well. I believe.
Okay.
That's a D1 college. Allie Patrick, great basketball player, good goalie as well. Mallory Patrick, general out there. I think the captain of the team. This is going to be a tough match. St. Charles is good, but that's a very, very good quarterfinal. But if there's a team to do it, Lana Adams, St. Vincent, you fancy them. They've got so much strength, and they've got that key piece. I mean, what a year she's had. And, you mentioned it. Still has a senior year coming after this.
Yeah, I like St. Vincent in this game. I give them the edge. But, I mean, you mentioned, that's a good point. What this girls' sporting class has done, I mean, my goodness, across the landscape in sports there at St. Vincent, that has been super impressive. How about Notre Dame in Class 3, quarterfinals against St. Joe's Academy? That's at noon. I'm imagining you're going to get a little chance to be out there today. Both teams averaging 3.5 goals per game. Notre Dame gives up 1.1 goals per game. St. Joe gives up 0.9. So on paper, it's a pretty even matchup.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. St. Joe's, I think they've had a stronger schedule, and that's what leans me to kind of give them the edge. But Notre Dame's got great players. I think Maya Tebow, I believe, is a strong player. I think she's a junior. But this one could go either way for me. I'm more confident in St. Vincent winning than I am in Notre Dame. But, I might have just jinxed it in Notre Dame's favor, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll have some highlights of that one, won't we, tonight?
Ideally, yeah. There's that going on. There's Jackson baseball, and there's St. Vincent and Catfish. So
you're going to be a busy guy today.
Yeah.
Track and field, we don't have to touch much on it, but look, there's a ton of great athletes in Southeast Missouri and in track and field, and there's been some records, not only in school records, but even some state records being approached this year for some of the athletes. Any athletes that come to mind on some of the accomplishments that they've had in track and field this year and what they've done, even teams this year for state?
I think you and I were talking about Blaine Reagan. He's already had such a strong year, for Jackson. Obviously, on basketball, too. Jackson, they won both the district titles, I think, for boys and girls. We had a team title last week in New Madrid County Central. They won the state championship.
That's awesome.
Be interested to see if Jackson can get one of their two teams, maybe even top 3. I know Notre Dame was top 3 last year. If one of these Jackson teams can win it all.
Yeah, and we were mentioning Carla Kasu, what she was able to do at Chaffee.
Dominant year.
The hurdles in both the 100, I believe, and 300, winning the state title. She was impressive. Amaya Biles for New Madrid and what she was able to accomplish with New Madrid County Central. There's those others.
Another St. Vincent girl, Reagan Meyer.
Yeah, Reagan Meyer
broke
had
the Class 1 record, and I believe the 800.
So again, ton of athletes. I know we're skipping over and missing a ton. I'm sorry about that.
There's a lot of you,
but you can't mention them all. But again, just to mention a few, just keep an eye on that. Pretty impressive. All right, let's move to the NBA playoffs. Pacers and Knicks. Game 6, Eastern Conference Finals. That's tonight at 7 p.m. on TNT.
The series is ending tonight.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean,
it's ending tonight.
You're not giving Knicks a chance?
The Knicks, my whole life, and I know I've only lived 24 years, the Knicks have found a way to disappoint me. I'm not a Knicks fan. I kind of rooted for the Wizards for a bit in the John Wall, Bradley Beal era, but in Otto Porter era.
Yeah.
But,
Is it the
Pacers,
Thunder's to lose regardless?
Thunder.
Or to win, regardless?
Thunder are winning this, to be honest. I think, what was it? They lost in the Western Conference semis last year. I was wondering if they were going to beat Denver Game 7. I felt like the winner of that could probably go.
Yeah.
Regardless, the more this series goes on, the better OKC will be.
I think I agree with you with the Pacers and Knicks, but I kind of want to see a Game 7.
I'd love to see a Game 7. I want to see a Game 7. I want to see every
part
series
of me
go to
thinks
Game
it
7.
might happen, but I don't know. I'm with you regardless. I think the Thunder is going to win it all.
It's going to take some Brunson magic.
In NHL, Panthers and Oilers, it's a rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals that's set for Wednesday, 7 p.m. on TNT. What do you got in that series?
A Canadian team has not won the Cup since, 1993?
It's been a minute.
It might be time, They're
without Sam Heyman. Do you have pause because of that for the Oilers?
They've got McDavid, though.
Yeah.
You've got
arguably the two best players in the game, McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah, Draisaitl, he's good to go, right?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Because what was it? Last year it was Florida went up 3-0, and then I think Edmonton won 3, and then Florida
That's right.
Yeah, I think if Edmonton can get off to a better start,
they have to.
Maybe this is the year a Canada team wins the Cup.
That'll be interesting.
Four Nations.
I think I'm going to go with Florida. I think I'm picking Florida to repeat. I do. And that hasn't happened often either.
No.
But, yeah, that's my pick. All right, NCAA baseball regionals. Look, a big game. This was pretty cool. Actually, before we get to that, I wanted to touch on NAIA, okay? NAIA baseball playoffs, World Series, the LSU Shreveport team.
Yeah.
Okay, having a chance to win the championship and a chance to go undefeated. Listen to this.
For a national title. Bounder over to the left side, right side. Easy play, and Vantro Reed, who else puts a finishing touch on this one as perfection wears purple in Lewiston, Idaho.
Perfection wears purple. And a 59-0 record. 59-0. They become the first ever baseball champions to go undefeated. NAIA World Series champions, LSU Shreveport. What an accomplishment.
And they've got a local connection, too, with that. A lot of people don't know this. Why are we talking NAIA baseball? It's head coach Brad Neffendorf. I believe I'm saying that right. His wife, Megan Roth Neffendorf, is the sports medicine director there. She's a native of Wittenberg. That's in Perry County. I believe the town's only got like a couple hundred people, but that's a Perry County representative of a team that's gone 59-0. That's crazy.
That is crazy. All right, in Division I baseball, NCAA, I wanted to get into this. Okay, Vanderbilt and Wright State. Wright State was winning in the game. Their starting pitcher in Allen, last name Allen, he went 6 innings, didn't give up a single hit. Had 7 strikeouts. How many pitches did he have, Luke? 76. That's it. 76 pitches.
Wow.
And he gets pulled. Then Vanderbilt goes on, make a little run, a couple of big hits, home run, and they win 4-3 final. After the game, Wright State's head coach had to answer questions because he pulled his guy without any hits allowed. Listen in.
Could you walk us through the decision to go to the bullpen with no hitter going?
Yeah, I thought Cam was doing great. He started to labor that second time through. I know you look at the box, he didn't give up a hit, but I think he had walked 4 of the last 8. And we knew that was the plan going through. Really, the plan was maybe one time through, but if he's really good, keep him rolling. We wanted to keep changing the looks. We felt like that was our best shot against their lineup. And then he was just a warrior out there. He was so good. And the second time through, I think he walked 4 of the 9. Then he ended up hitting a guy who was really fighting through it, kind of laboring, but made big pitches. And so at the end of the day, I know his pitch count wasn't crazy. We just we felt good with the arms behind them, and obviously it's easy to say what if now, but it was, me and our pitching coach, we talked throughout the game, every inning, about every possible situation, and we felt really good about it. And this guy would have thrown 150 pitches. He just competes his tail off, and I was just extremely proud of the outing he put together tonight.
Look, I respect the answer that he supported his team and his guys, and he talked about, look, we pre-planned before the game saying, look, we thought if we threw multiple arms at him, we'd have a better shot. So I appreciate that answer. One of the things he said, which is absolutely false, he's like, I think he walked 4 of the last 8, and then another time he said 4 of the last 9. No, he only walked 3 batters the entire game. What are you getting this 4 out of? I mean, no, that didn't happen. He walked 3 batters. And again, I don't know how you do that, but that's one you're going to be kicking yourselves for sure.
Obviously maybe your plan is to, assume you're going to lose to Vanderbilt and then go for a win in the next game and win an elimination game. But when you're beating the number 1 team in the nation, and, maybe Coach is right. It was starting to be a bit laborious. I can't see that. My eye ain't trained to that level. But optically, it's not a great look.
Yeah. A couple other games. One of the best teams, one of the favorites to win it all. North Carolina win 4-0 over Holy Cross. Arizona 3-2 over Cal Poly. East Carolina 11-6 over Florida. This is an interesting game. Georgia Tech 9-2 over Western Kentucky. LSU shuts out Little Rock, the OVC team that made it in. Pretty impressive what Little Rock did in the OVC tournament. They lose 7-0 in the opening round. It's going to be tough for Little Rock, but just to be in it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they were the 8th seed. I mean, you talk about how a lot of conference tournaments will be double elimination. I mean, regionals double elimination. The day Little Rock started was the first day of the OVC tournament. That is a single elimination day. So they could have been eliminated by Southern Indiana. They weren't. They could have been eliminated by SEMO. They took SEMO out, and then they go out, and I don't think they dropped a game.
Nope.
Yeah, for them to be there, that's awesome.
And then, how about Murray State?
Murray State.
Okay,
yeah.
Murray State.
9-6.
They win 9-6. They hadn't won a tournament game since 1979. Listen to the final on ESPN+.
Into shallow right field. The catch is made, and the upset is complete. Murray State wins their first NCAA tournament game since 1979 in a 9-6 thriller here in Oxford. They shock Ole Miss.
Wow, Murray State with a big win, 9-6. How about that, Luke?
They have luck in the Magnolia State because, those wins we're talking about in 79? They were at Starkville. So They win at Starkville. They win in Oxford. And how about that? I think that's got to probably be the biggest win in program history, to take down number 10 regionals, when all the pressure's on you. And now they get to play a Georgia Tech team, which I believe will win this regional. But, man, to be there, to go out to win the MVC this year, you had to beat some good teams. You had to beat Southern Illinois. You had to beat Bougainville and Missouri State. Why not? Keep going, Murray State. Enjoy this run. Ultimately, you probably won't get out of the regional. I think Georgia Tech's getting out of this regional alive. Maybe even Ole Miss comes back. You never know. But go out, enjoy every moment, especially those seniors.
Pretty cool there. Congrats to Murray. Final thing, we'll let you go. St. Louis Battlehawks, they played last night, Luke, against the DC Defenders. They won 13-8 in a kind of a monsoon at some point during the game.
That's what my parents live in Maryland, for those that don't know. And they had a tornado warning, which is
scary.
not common for that area, but it was pouring down. But, yeah, good for the Battlehawks. To survive, because those East Coast rains, they can get pretty heavy, just like here in Missouri. But good for them to go out. How did Duggan do?
He didn't play. They started Brandon Silvers.
Okay.
And then they had.
Are they resting Duggan, or is he hurt?
He's been banged up.
Okay.
So he was listed as basically an emergency quarterback. So if it was a playoff game, he would have been playing, right?
Okay.
But the game didn't really matter. They already know they're going to be playing them again. Maybe part of it, too. Probably Luke, you don't want to show some of your cards.
No.
But Brandon Silvers filled in nicely, and I think he's going to get some playing time, you would think, because he's been more of a little bit more of a thrower than Duggan probably. But as a team, they run the ball well, and they win the turnover battle. They did again last night. That's the formula. They're now 8-2, and they're gonna. I mentioned that they're gonna host the conference championship at the Dome June 8th. Okay, June 8th in about a week, and they'll play against the DC Defenders again. So that'll be pretty exciting. The Battlehawks. They haven't done it yet, but maybe they have a chance to win that title this year.
Yeah, what was it? I think the last 2 years ago they missed the playoffs despite their really, really good record. I think that was XFL, I believe.
Right.
And then last year, who did they lose to in that? They lost in the conference championships. I think it was San Antonio or Arlington. They've been good defensively. I know they had the quarterback issue this year. Duggan wasn't even the guy going into the year.
Yeah, Manny Wilkins ended up getting hurt.
For them to be 8-2, it's not bad. Not bad at all.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully they can win so this would be the XFL championship. If they get that win, they would play for the UFL championship.
Yeah, they got to get those conference names sorted out.
It's confusing.
Like just pick East and West or something and something. Yeah.
Well, Luke, man, it's been a good show. I know you're a busy guy today. I appreciate it so much you coming in to chat and
Thank
some
you
good
for
info
having me
today, man.
Thank you for having me. This is always fun. I'm always I'm more nervous here when I'm on TV than when I'm on TV because I'm like, am I gonna breathe into the mic or But thank you for always guiding me through
good.
it.
Just any final thoughts? Again, a lot to cover today for you guys on KFS 12.
Yeah, I'll be bouncing around Notre Dame, Jackson. Ideally, I'll be getting up to Perryville for that. So, just tune in tonight. We'll hopefully have as much highlights as we can. We do not have an early show tonight, which is great.
Helpful.
That helps me a ton. But yeah, we'll have some good stuff tonight. And go sports.
All right, Luke, appreciate it. And again, make sure and tune in right here to SEMO ESPN to the Cape Catfish tonight. 6:35 will be on for the pregame show at 6:20. For Luke Randall, Rusty Hendricks saying so long for the final time. SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Have a good day, everybody.
You've been listening to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 for a dash of hometown pride right here on the SEMO Scramble. Yes, don't miss the latest news, scores, and stories that matter most to local sports enthusiasts. From the Boot Heel and beyond. Right here on SEMO ESPN 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, the SEMO ESPN app, and at SEMOESPN.com.